We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin. A Friday's jobs report showed the creation of 199,000 jobs added to the U.S. economy. Now, this was less than half of the expected 400,000 jobs that economists had predicted. This showed an economic slowdown prior to the Omicron variant hitting its full impact. Yet Biden focused on the unemployment rate dropping to 3.9%. We've discussed in the past why the unemployment rate is a false measure, because people are leaving the job market in droves. This lowers the unemployment rate without people returning to work. The media has spoken at length about the Great Resignation. Well, when people quit their jobs, they are not counted in that unemployment rate. Biden's spin on this is that he has created more jobs in his first year than any president ever. The talking point that Biden created more jobs is a favorite of his, but he isn't factoring in population and labor force growth, or the fact that many of the jobs recently gained had been lost during the sharp drop in employment because of the coronavirus pandemic. The economy is still 5 million jobs under the peak reached before the pandemic, according to PolitiFact. Biden is also fond of pointing out the wage growth. Now, wage growth is an important factor, but again, he takes the numbers out of context. Wage growth was reported in this latest information at 4.7%. Now, in most cases, this really would be something to be proud of. But with the inflation rate at over 6%, this is actually a real wage drop of 1.5%. So you don't want to be crowing about wages actually going down. Forbes media chairman Steve Forbes said on Friday that President Biden's remarks on the new jobs report amounted to a fairy tale about economic recovery. He said, quote, he ignores the fact that before the COVID crisis hit, American unemployment was lower. Lower income people's wages were rising at a faster pace than the rest of the workforce, and things were going in the right direction, unquote. In fact, the White House posted on social media about creating more jobs than any other president, and social media as a whole lambasted him for taking these numbers out of context and showing that he was spinning his own numbers. Biden also fails to discuss the fact that the unemployment rate among African Americans is rising, not falling. Though the unemployment rate steadily declined in 2021, the new report shows African Americans are not experiencing the same level of economic recovery from the pandemic as the rest of the country. According to Yahoo, the black unemployment rate was the only such statistic to see an increase in December, rising almost 1% from the November figures. While the other groups measured, whites, Asians, and Hispanics, all came in under 5% unemployment, the latest figures released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics lists black unemployment at 7.1%. According to Bill Rogers, director of the Institute for Economic Equity at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, the report in terms of jobs continues to show an economy that is recovering, but we still have a ways to go. It's important to remember that prior to the pandemic, African American unemployment was at the lowest point in history, as was Hispanic and female unemployment. So now we are coming from an economy that was benefiting everyone to an economy that numbers are being cherry-picked because certain groups are being left behind. Like every administration, Biden cherry-picks the numbers he wants to focus on. To get the true picture, you need to look at all the numbers and look at the proper context. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth, as well as the rest of the XVadio network, at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you next time.